this.
Holy shit, Kevin!
Wow. What?
You got this only nowhere else but you. Kevin is after that. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're not look at this. A carved penguin. There it is. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
It's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my god.
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birds fish!
How about that?
Birds fish fans, stand up! We did it!
What can I say? What can I say?
That was so gross. Oh, that was gross. That was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. All the momentum in the world. And then you just get... It's like that book, you know, that kid's book, like if you give a mouse a cookie. It's like if you throw a lefty versus the Orioles, nothing but good things will happen for your team. The Orioles are incapable of hitting left-handed pitching. Like completely incapable of hitting. And it's almost impressive. I mean, Gunner's hitting like 350 versus righties, like 170 versus lefties. Literally, the Athletics brought in a righty for one inning, not even a full inning, but they bring in a righty. Gunner immediately leads off with a single. And then it's like they realize they're like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, our bad. And then they got TJ McFarland up to get a lefty. I mean, oh, what an ugly game. What an ugly series. I mean, this was the only game where they really, I mean, you can say they had opportunities, which they did, but I mean, they should have won on Friday. Obviously, they won yesterday. Just a gross series. What a gross series. You can't lose that series. That's the thing, is like you can't lose that series. That's the one thing that the Orioles had to avoid. Once you won in Seattle and you got the sweep in Seattle, the last thing you could do was lose the series to the Athletics. The Orioles we've been talking about, they don't have the benefit of the doubt right now of when, hey, we're not playing well, okay, we won the road trip. 4-2 on that road trip is not good. When you started out 3-0 against a floundering team, this team had a golden opportunity to get, if you sweep, to 8 games under 500. If you win 2 of 3, get to 10 games under 500. And they just absolutely horrific series. Horrific series. They went into a little league ballpark, and I think they said this was the on the broadcast day. This was just the 4th time a team had scored 1 run there. And yeah, it is crazy. It's genuinely insane. Like the Orioles have an incapability to hit left-handed pitching, and it's unreal. Like just throwing a lefty out there completely throws this team off. If you throw like we remember last season, towards the end of the year, the Tigers, they did it where they were literally just throwing openers against the Orioles to then get Orioles put all their lefties in, and then they'd put a lefty in after the opener. And it mind effed the Orioles. Like the Orioles just couldn't do it. I would rather, so the Orioles, I think it's game 1 of the series in against Detroit. Yeah, let me look this up. Yeah, so game 1, obviously it's a different circumstance because it's a righty. Detroit's pitcher on Tuesday has over 7 ERA. He scares me because if you have a horrific ERA against the, and you face the Orioles, you're probably having a get-right game. Soft tossing lefties are the kryptonite to the Baltimore Orioles organization. D-Jax, appreciate you becoming a member. Just a brutal series. Just all-around brutal series. Let's get into the box score real fast. Let me pull it up. Here we go. So, I mean, Jackson Holliday gets the one hit, 1 for 4 in the infield single. Adley Rutschman had a better day. He continues to show improvement. Gunnar gets his one hit versus a righty against lefties. He looked pretty uncompetitive at times. I mean, he is struggling. Ramon can't follow up his 3-hit game yesterday with anything. Real fast, yeah. Who do we send down? Oh, it's going to be Emmanuel Rivera. It's got to be Emmanuel Rivera. Especially today. I mean, he had a tough day. He had a very, very, very tough day. So Emmanuel Rivera is, if we're picking anyone to go down, I think it's very clearly Rivera. I don't see them making a move to anyone in the outfield like a Carl. Rivera's too easy because it takes care of the positional need, and it's like a third corner infielder, utility guy for utility guy. So I think it's going to be probably end up being him. I would be pretty shocked if it wasn't Rivera. Ramon Arias had that one double. Colton Cowser got his one hit, but also then robbed of probably I would assume RBI single on that. Kobe Mayo looks a lot better. I know obviously the results aren't there every single at bat. 1 for 4 today. I think every single game, he looks very different up there. He looks much more comfortable. He looks on top of pitches. He doesn't look as fooled. Kobe Mayo is one of those guys where if we want to talk about bright spots of the athletic series, it felt like Kobe Mayo is continuing to get his footing underneath him. Also stole a base, so I guess you can add him into that sneaky fast thing category. I say it's gone weird. 28th at outs above replacement at -13. Yeah, so the defense this whole season. I mean, hell, we've had Jorge Mateo in center field. Heston Kjerstad is not the greatest defensively. You have Ryan O'Hearn, a first baseman, playing the outfield. It is not when you're shuffling guys around that much and they can't get comfortable in positions, especially positions they just simply probably shouldn't be playing, it's not a recipe for success. Gunnar Henderson, probably the biggest culprit. He actually had that one error change to a hit. Don't know how that was ruled a hit. It was a pretty blatant mess up by Gunnar there that maybe if they turned two could have kept the inning a little bit closer. But it feels like this team every time, and that's what we said had kind of separated them the past 2 weeks is once they started, it felt like to play more to solid defense. Cutoffs were going well. Felt like they were more fundamentally sound. That's when it felt like they were playing better. When the Orioles are beating themselves, it's a long day. There's no other way to put it. It becomes a very long day when the Orioles are giving the opponent extra opportunities. I mean, poor Sagano, it felt like, he was getting hit around, but there were some ground balls that got by guys that you're like, okay, you've got to make something happen there. There were ground balls that we got no outs on. It just felt like, potential double plays that turned into no outs. When the defense is allowing other teams, like you can't give teams extra opportunities because they're going to make you pay for it. And, the Athletics, hey, in their opportunities, they made the Orioles pay. So now if you're the Orioles, Sagano did not pitch well. Definitely the worst outing of his career, 4 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Honestly, good for him for getting through 4 1/3. I thought he was about to get the leash when I think they blew it up in the 2nd inning. So for him to be able to fight out of it, get to 4 1/3, keep it at 4 runs. And then Scott Blewett comes in. Scott Blewett, when Scott Blewett was DFA'd the original time when we DFA'd him earlier this season, I was kind of bummed. I liked what we saw from Scott Blewett. He had a decent go in Atlanta. Then they had that massive blow up, so he was kind of the scapegoat for that and got DFA'd. Back here, I like it. Yennier Cano, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks. So good to see from that. Making a few athletic plays out there. Big man can get down. And then Brian Baker, after he throws the first, after that first pitch, Max Muncy hit a very long way. Very long way. Sullivan, Brian Baker. Hey, if he's going to do that, if Brian Baker's going to give up his 450-foot home run, give up his home run, I'd rather him do it in a game that they weren't going to win than him going and doing that in a 1-run game. So get it out of his system, but definitely disappointing from Sagano. Just didn't feel like himself today. It felt like everything was getting hung up, but you also have to give the Athletics hitters some credit. Butler, Wilson, that 1 through 3 with Rooker, Wilson, Butler is a very damn good 1 through 3. I mean, Jacob Wilson, I'm so glad that the Orioles don't have to face Jacob Wilson for the foreseeable future because that kid just hits everything. He sits there, does the cha-cha slide in the batter's box, and then just finds a way to put barrel on the ball. He finds a way to get on base, to hit singles, hit doubles. He was just absolutely infuriating to watch. I mean, as a fan of baseball, watching him this year has been incredible because seeing a rookie hit over 350, he's unreal. But man, he was on one. So tough all around. Just series. I mean, this is disappointing. That's the word for it. Disappointing after the Orioles go and they get the sweep against the Mariners, and you feel like, okay, they're riding this high. They are going against a floundering, Athletics team that can do no right. They've lost, what was at that point, like 20 of their last 22, 21 of their last 23, something in that realm, and you let them get 2 of 3. You let the coldest team in baseball get 2 of 3 from you. It's, it's kind of, in a nutshell, been everything that this team has been this year. You get the flashes of, oh, this is the team that we expect to see. This is the team that the talent adds up to when you look at the Gunners, the Adleys. You see those moments, and that was the Mariners series. You saw the fight. You saw the never say die. They went out there and they took the games. Then you see them roll over in this game. I mean, 4-1 and the game was over. I mean, it was just it was tough. Because you sit there and you try to see the good moments and you're like, okay, they can build off of this. But then they also have these moments like today, like frankly this weekend. And you're like, this team is not going to go anywhere if they can't take care of business. People were saying, oh, you can't give them credit for beating the White Sox or beating the, down bad Red Sox. Yeah, you can, because they're supposed to. They were supposed to beat the Athletics 2 of 3, if not all 3 times, and they were unable to. That's the difference. When this team's taking care of business, they can be good, but you can't be like, oh, we took care of business against the White Sox, against the Red Sox, and then go out there and shit the bed against the Athletics. That's not going to help this team. That's not going to get you back to where you want to go. And I keep saying it, under normal circumstances, throughout a 162-game season, you would look at a West Coast road trip of, hey, they went 4-2 and go, awesome. 4-2 on the road trip, there we go. But this isn't normal circumstances. This team has dug themselves a hole. They have dug themselves a hole, and trust me, nobody feels bad for them. Nobody in Major League Baseball is like, oh, well, the Orioles had a lot of injuries. Oh, they have some talent. Oh, they lost a few games they shouldn't have. The Orioles made their bet, and they're going to have to lay in it. So they do not have the benefit of, oh, you can just look at it as, oh, it's 4-2 on the series or on the West Coast road trip. We're going. Awesome. That's a win. Because of the situation you found yourselves in, and then because you grabbed momentum by sweeping the Mariners, that was a series that you needed to win the most, at the least. At the very, 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 very least, you needed to come away with 2 of 3 there. And they couldn't. And that's the reality of where they're at right now, is once again, they took 2 steps forward and then they took a step back, because if you win this game, you're 10 games under 500. You got some resemblance. I mean, hell, they were 7.5 games back of the wild card last night. That's going to creep back again. It's, you can't keep on, just taking the moral victories of, oh, at least they're taking 4 of 2, 4-2 on the road trip. You had to win all 3, or you had to win at least 2 of 3 on this, and probably 5 of 6. So hit that like and subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, this is Kevin and Zach React. Joining me, it's my co-host, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, that's a bad loss. That's a very bad series loss.
Yeah, I mean, after the first game, I said that, sweep had to be what it was. Yeah. Like you said, absolute, like barely minimum. And honestly, to me, it doesn't even feel that way. Like 2 out of 3 to me is still pretty despicable.
And that's what we're talking about. It was even a win today. You left with a little disappointment.
Yeah. And look, I can't even imagine if they didn't come back last night and that game kind of blew up in their faces. I'm glad it didn't, but they had an opportunity to end this road trip 8 games under, and now you're back to 12. And like you said, it's 2 straight. They're like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And again, like if you had told me this team would go 4-2 on the road trip, I'd be like, okay, you're probably like.
If they would have gone 2-1 and 2-1, you're looking at like, all right, take care of business.
I mean that feels better. Maybe like Seattle's pitching completely shut them down, and like they lost 2 in Seattle, but then they came back and they did what they were supposed to against the A's and swept them. Like this was probably the weirdest outcome to me of going 4-2, where they sweep the Mariners and then they lose 2 or 3 to the A's. Like you can't make this up, man. And again, like by the way, I just want people to know. I am a left-handed pitcher. I throw left-handed. I think I could go through 6 and give up like 2 runs against the Orioles at this point. Like, and I don't know how to throw anything else but a fastball. I never learned how to throw a curveball. Never learned how to throw off-speed stuff. Just straight 4-seam fastballs. And I feel like I could go 6 strong and give up like 2 runs. It's ridiculous. I don't know if you saw Jacob. Did you read off Jacob Kaufenmeyer's tweet?
No, I did not.
Or maybe, I think it was him. Yeah, here we go. All right. Jacob Kaufenmeyer of the Baltimore Sun. The worst teams versus left-handed pitching in MLB's divisional era. So that is since 1969. Number 1, the 2025 Orioles. 559 OPS.
Nice.
Next is the 71 Brewers, followed by 72 Rangers, 72 Cleveland Indians, and then you got the 2025 Colorado Rockies. You're worse than the Rockies. That's a bad team. So, just tragic.
It is. I mean, Kevin, it's a mental thing. It has to be, because when this team faces a lefty, it's over. Like it just mentally, when a lefty goes up on the mound, it's almost like the game is just stops, and it's like we'll resume once the opposing team decides to put a righty in, and then we'll keep playing baseball. But until then, no. Like it literally stalls this offense's momentum completely. You throw a lefty in, you're going 1, 2, 3. And you're not going to be a good team if you can't hit lefty. If you can't hit at a historically bad clip.
It's one thing if you're facing like a good lefty, but it's just every single lefty. It feels like this team just can't hit them again. Like you're in company with really bad teams, like the 71 Brewers, 72 Rangers, and again, like he got Cleveland in 72 also. Like this is historic stuff we're talking about right here. It's not just last 10 years, last 5 years. No, we're talking about like since 1970 essentially. And you also are in the same conversation with one of the worst teams that we have seen in recent memory in the Colorado Rockies this year. So like that is not company you want to be in whatsoever. I'm actually going to go look at where these teams finished in 7. Like I want to see where Cleveland finished and Texas. All right, 1972 Cleveland. Let's see. They finished 72 and 84. Do we think the Orioles finished 72 and 84 this year?
I wouldn't be surprised if you told me they did.
72 and 84. All right, who else do we got? We got 72 Texas, 1972 Rangers. The Rangers finished 54 and 100. Do you think they get 200 losses this year?
God, that would be tough. If they lost 100 games, that would be something. What would they have to do to lose?
I don't even. Yeah. All right, let's do 71 Brewers now. 1971.
Have to lose 62 games.
Milwaukee finished 69 and 92 that year, and we know the Rockies this year. They even have 10 wins.
Yeah. The Rockies, they have 12, 13. They won because they just swept the Marlins.
They have 12. They're 12 and 53.
Yeah, I was going to say they just swept the Marlins.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they were at 7 and they were at 9 for a little bit. So, yeah, that is crazy. Like, you're talking 70s. You're talking one of the worst teams we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years in general. So, doesn't matter who it is. And, like, again, that's why you look at some of these lefty staffs that you might have to, like, look, I'm not talking playoffs, but I'm just hypothetically saying, like, if you're trying to get back into the playoffs, which, again, that's a different conversation. But you go face the Royals for 3 games and they're throwing their top guys and you're screwed. You can't hit their staff. Like, these lefty. I would honestly skip a guy in the rotation just to get a lefty on the mound. You bring up a lefty from AAA.
Well, remember last year what the Tigers were doing? They literally were bringing in openers, righty openers, to get the Orioles to put all their lefties in the lineup, and then would take him out after one inning, and then put a lefty in, and it would just shut him down. Like that, they literally that's how they knew if you want to beat the Orioles, put a lefty up there. Like you're gonna win all three.
Yeah, look, we can't deny that they've looked better recently, but we also can't deny that they're still not nearly good enough to even be in semi-contender conversation. It's the reality of it where, the bare minimum is sweeping the White Sox, right? The bare minimum. And look, I didn't think they would sweep Seattle. I thought Seattle would get a game on them at least. They swept Seattle. So credit to the Orioles for doing that.
Yeah.
Even though that offense needs a lot of help over there in Seattle right now. But
it's Cal Raleigh and friends.
Yeah, but regardless, again, you kind of did what you were supposed to do, but honestly kind of exceeded expectations in this series. But then, the A's, that's a team you also have to sweep. Yeah, you have to. And I know you think the same thing. I know that, we're not in disagreement over that. We agree. But now you have these four. These series are going to be a lot tougher than White Sox, Mariners, A's. You have Detroit, Angels, Rays, and Yankees. I mean, if they go 4-12. No. Yeah, I'll say 4-8. Let's say they go 4-8. You're back to 16 games under, and you're almost in July at that point.
Yeah.
So this is it. I know we've said, you and I both, Zach, have said this is it for the past 2 months, but I legitimately mean it.
Been it for a while.
This is it. This is legitimately it. This is the last actual chance. They have a 0.00000 whatever 1%. This is it. If you cannot get to, I'd say 10 games under against these teams, at least,
yeah,
then you're just moving in the wrong direction, and it's just too little too late by that point. So
yeah, and it might even be too little too late right now.
It feels like it. It is. I mean, we can be
the circumstances they built their bed, they made their bed. This is not anyone else's fault. They dug this hole. No one in the league feels bad about their injuries. No one in the league feels bad about their losses and stuff. The reality is they had an opportunity to really build some momentum back, and if they could have swept the A's, been 8 games under 500, and then suddenly you're genuinely sitting back and going, "Oh, this team has a chance." They not only didn't do that, they lost the series, putting themselves back behind the 8 ball, kind of in that 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. You felt so confident, then it was just gone.
Yeah, I mean, at least your confidence felt like it was better than what we had seen. And then, and again, the defense is just, it feels like they have one weird defensive play at least every single game, and some hurt more than others. But you can talk about that Carlson play last night, or, the Mateo Jackson thing, or the Mateo Heston thing, or just Heston in general, or a lot of other guys who haven't been as good defensively. Kobe at third has had some not so great moments. It's been tough. And, Gunnar obviously is he's an awesome player. I know it's been a tough go of it for him this season, especially defensively, but he also does not get a pass. So, the defense is just a huge issue still. And while they'll have spectacular plays here and there, getting a guy like Mullins back obviously helps in that regard. I mean, you can't afford to have these, quite frankly, dumb mistakes if, you want to get back in this thing. And it feels like, you're right. It's no one else's fault but themselves. Tomo gets 3 runs given up that he gives up. But the score was 4. Want to know why? Because there were defensive mishaps. It just feels like that. And again, Tomo, whether it was heat, I know a lot of people were talking about the heat, or whatever it was for him, it was just a bad start relative to what's expected from him. And I think that we can't expect Tomo to go out there and pitch 7 shutout or 7 one-run ball innings every single time. There will be games like this, and quite frankly, like it was a lot better than I thought he was going to do after like the first inning. I mean, the first couple innings, I thought he was going to, get pulled after like 3. So, I don't know. Where do you think Matt Bowman goes? I don't think he survives.
I'm honestly not sure because I also thought CNL Perez wasn't going to survive, and that I went.
Well, Bowman's been DFA'd once this season, twice this season.
Yeah, I think it was once.
But I mean, after the game that he had last night, maybe a team sees that, and because Perez, it was just like he was awful the whole year, and they set him down after a bad outing. And look, I'm fine with Blewett. Like I don't know why they DFA'd him the first time. I know you talked about that a little bit. I don't know why they DFA'd him the first time. I'm fine with Blewett over Bowman, but if he does leave, it stings because you just don't have the option. Is Swanson coming back this year? Do we even know? Because he could be he could be another long man. It's just I don't know when these injury guys are coming. I mean, like Westy, we know is coming back.
Westy, we know will be back. They said Seti could be back this series or Angel series. That and that'll be more. I would say Carlson probably gets sent down then because they would.
Does he have options?
I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think so. I just don't know.
Let me look at. Fangraphs. Get my.
Because I think he would 100% get claimed.
No, don't both. And he has 3 options. So yeah, it would be him.
Oh, it would. Boom! All right, there we go.
Yeah, so it would be him. Anyone else?
You said Rivera already.
Yeah, Rivera's gonna get. He's gonna. I think he gets DFA'd. Yeah, because we have 0 options. The bullpen does not have any guys with options. It's Felix, Cano, and Keegan Aiken, and you're not getting rid of any of those guys.
Yeah, I just have to play the DFA game.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Kevin, want to get into some call-ins?
Yeah, let's get into some call-ins. I don't know if AJ's here to be the call-in bouncer for us, but we'll get to the call-ins. We're going to try our best to make sure we get everybody in. Yeah, come talk about the Orioles. Come talk about not the Orioles. If you don't want to talk about the team that just lost 2 or 3 to the Athletics. This is Kevin and Zach React, by the way. Your Orioles post-game destination. Win or lose. Been a lot of losing this year. Right? We all know that. But we appreciate the community for sticking with us through it all. We try to provide some levity. But, of course, we care about this team just like you care about this team. And we want to be a place where you can vent after losses. You can celebrate after wins. The happiness, the frustration, everything. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's therapy. It's like therapy. I guess.
We try. I hope that's what it is for people.
I'd like to think, Kevin. I'd like to think we make people somehow. Maybe our misery in some ways also helps.
Yeah. I mean, look, if people want to laugh at my misery, then I guess that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Awesome. Let's head to our first column. We got Jake behind the scenes. Awesome. Jake, you there?
Jake, what's going on?
Yeah, y'all can hear me?
Yep,
yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Sorry, I took the camera off just because I'm walking my dog, and I don't think y'all want some gyrating camera.
That's all good. That's all good. No worries, man. What's on your mind? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Calling y'all. calling from North Carolina again. I think, did you say you went to Elon or
I
UNC?
was at Elon, yeah.
Okay, because so that's like what, closer to
It's like Raleigh, like 30 minutes from Raleigh, Durham, and like Greensboro, like that area.
That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah. We're about 45 minutes
Oh,
southeast
nice,
of
nice, nice, nice.
down Fayetteville. But yeah, no, I just yeah, frustrating game, but yeah, just watching Sagano out there, I thought Jim Palmer did a good job of kind of explaining like, hey, this guy is probably pitching in, he either said it's one of the hottest or is the hottest game he's ever pitched in. For a 35-year-old. I think every time I see a highlight of Japanese baseball, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but every time I see a highlight of Japanese baseball, I feel like every stadium is a dome. Am I kind of in the right
Yeah,
ballpark there
I
with that?
have no idea. That's a really
everyone
good question. I have no idea.
Yeah, every time we send guys over and we see those great, like we saw that great series, what I think it was like last year or earlier this year when they did
Yeah.
the Japan with the Dodgers and whatnot. Everything's a sweet dome, controlled, and this kid, I mean, he's 35, but I mean, once again, Sagano shows me that he's a gamer. He's like, you know what, this sucks,
Yeah.
but I'm pushing, and you'll pull me out when I need to be pulled out, but I am going to push. And I looked it up because I'm from, like I said, I'm from the Eastern Shore, of Virginia. I live in North Carolina. I've never been to California. I had to look it up myself. I was like, man, is that kind of like high desert out there? Because it's like people were talking about like when they went to Sacramento, they're like, man, these MLB players are going to be put to a
Yeah.
little bit of a test in June, July, and August. And I was like, Jesus, Sacramento get like that?
Yeah.
Um,
I had no clue. Kevin,
It's
oh
just,
yeah, Kevin, you've been out there.
I mean, I was in LA for a little bit. I mean,
okay,
it's dry. I mean, it's not like Arizona dry. I mean, and Arizona can get crazy, but California, at least when I was out there, during the summer, like it can get super, super hot, but it's not like the humid hot like a Florida, for example. Like Florida just gets humid,
sure,
but
sure.
it's just different out there. All these warm states have different climates, and you start to get into like June, July, and it really picks up. So I mean, I've never been to like the Sacramento area, so I can't really speak on like that if it's any different from like a Los Angeles in that area. But those states, it can sneak up on you. So maybe that's
Sure.
just what happened here. But yeah, that's kind of what I got on that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I saw with him. Because I think a couple of weeks back he had a game that he had a rough first inning, but it was like I want to say it was like raining. It was just really crappy, and he was just like, but he went through it. He worked his way through it, just like this game. He got to the fifth, I believe. Um, you know, it is what it is. So I'm not too worried about him. The other thing Jim Palmer said, he was talking about Jacob Wilson, like that kid. I was making fun because my little sister's an A's fan, and my name is Jacob. And so I'm like, dude, this kid is like my best player, my favorite player outside of our guys. But then I watched him for 3 days destroy us. I'm just like, Jesus, man. Like,
Unreal.
damn. Yeah, I mean, I
He
think
hits everything.
Jim Palmer,
He hits everything.
he did. He hit everything. He hit stuff, obviously in the box. If it went a little outside the box, he was like, okay, I'll get that too. Like, I'm not overly concerned with either pulling or pushing. Like, I'm just putting bat to ball, which made Palmer. I was kind of curious because the way he said it, I think Jim Palmer does a really good job of saying stuff how he feels without like being overtly against however the Orioles system is doing stuff. So like when it comes to hitting, for example, like he was just like, look, when you're swinging for home runs all the time, you're gonna roll the ball over, when the ball is in a certain position away from you or whatever. And that's what happened to a lot of our guys. And they're like, well, and he's like, look at this Jacob Wilson kid. He's a rookie. He's hitting 360 something now after this series.
Yeah.
Like
Incredible.
just absolutely shoving. So I'm just curious. I mean, that's what I heard with Palmer. Because I mean, it's one thing if I say it or like somebody who doesn't know much about or doesn't play baseball at that level. But when Jim Palmer's like, look, this isn't. I mean, yeah, it looks easy, and I'm saying it like it's easy. It is hard, but if you just put the bat on ball and make the other team work, I know that they're professional players and that they're great fielders generally, but you got to make them work. And our guys are so athletic and fast down first base line.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. Just like use your skill set.
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough, and especially because I mean I remember talking about it last night where it feels like there's less of that trying to hit a homer every time, like
Hmm.
especially compared to like the back half of last year and the earlier parts of this year. It has felt for the most part like they're playing more team baseball and
Hmm.
like trying to. And I think Zach, I described it to you as like they're not playing as individuals right now; they're playing as team, like a team
Yeah.
sport. Which when you're an individual, it's like I'm just going to go try to swing for that ball, hit a solo homer every time, and that does not lead to wins. Could lead to better production, but it also sometimes doesn't when you're just rolling over it, like you said. So I think to me this was one of those games where, and again, like the left-handed pitching stuff is just ridiculous. They can't hit a lefty to save their lives, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable. So, man,
Yeah, I thought the stats you put were earlier was like absolutely on the money when you showed like, hey, this is not only bad, and what Jacob put out too on his text, like this is
yeah,
historically bad. Like you guys are just completely in your head. Um, and the last point I was gonna say before I'll get off the mic because I know that somebody else. I'm sure that y'all have. Every time I try to get on here now, y'all get more and more people on here. I could tell, so I'm like, okay, I better get in quick and get out quick. Uh, was just like Jim Palmer and the other announcer. I can't remember his name. I know he's the one that's not Kevin, obviously.
Yeah. Ben
Um,
Wagner.
yeah, thank you, thank you. Apparently he loves food. Apparently,
Yeah.
um, he they were both talking about how like I guess these weird hamstring injury. I mean, yeah, we're talking about Mountie, we're talking about
Mm.
Seti, and a bunch of our boys, Westy. Um, I'm curious if you, and I'll get off the mic. It's more of a question for you guys. Do you guys know like what kind of like what our PT plan like when it comes to like physical therapy training like do the Orioles do like a third party company like outsource that type of stuff? I'm just curious because I feel like if you're going to invest like with this new ownership group and the new team, like yes, we invested heavily in the international market and we've got some really promising young guys, especially in rookie ball. I was looking them up earlier. Are we doing a good job with that? Because I feel like if you can keep your guys healthy, like
Mm.
that that killed us at the beginning of the year and killed us at the end of last year. Pitchers, okay, I got it. Their elbows blow up left and right. I got it. That's a whole different ball of wax. But positional players, these guys are studs. He's got to keep feeding them the right stuff, whether it's diet, training, whatever, whatnot. And yeah, I don't know if you guys know that stuff or not.
I
Yeah, I
don't
do know that.
know. Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
I was going to say real fast. I know that they obviously have their own athletic training staff, and I think the majority of it is all through them.
Okay, sorry.
So they do that, and I know they actually had a new staff. Majority of the staff, I believe, over the last 2 years has been pretty much overhauled. But yeah, it is one of those things, especially when it's consistently the same thing, like a hamstring, where you're like, okay, what's going on? Why is this one muscle group not only for one player, but now multiple players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you can probably, as Kevin can probably figure out, I'm in baseball. I've been in the Army for quite a bit, for a while, like 12 years, and they've invested heavily, at least in special operations down here at Fort Bragg, in that type of stuff, like very heavily. A lot of the new gyms that come up on Bragg or wherever else have like, I mean, they say they model them really after like college weight rooms. We have tracks like there's with the fake grass in the middle of the gym where guys are like pushing and pulling sled. Like everything is crazy. Like it's about being athletic and keeping yourself in shape. Being able to do whatever, being reactionary, whatever. And it's just fascinating. We're doing that. Yeah, we have taxpayer money and whatnot. But the Orioles are also $1 billion company. And I'm like, man, if you're going to invest,
Yeah,
invest in your guys.
Yeah, it
I
makes
agree.
sense. I mean, I'm curious to see if there'll be a shift. I mean, I know that they moved on from, their longtime guy last year, bringing in a
Right.
bunch of new guys. So I'm curious to see, because again, like you do that and then you still have the injuries. It's like, well, maybe there's something deeper that's going on here. So I'm curious to see if there's a shift. I'm not sure anything will happen this year, but maybe like in
Sure.
the off season, we'll kind of figure out if there's any adjustment. Maybe we'll see it in results. Like maybe next year they just really don't have injuries, and we'll kind of be able to tell, like, hey, they
Exactly.
probably make significant changes to the way they do things.
Yeah, maybe that new company or the guys you said, like I know they brought in some new people. I don't know if it's a coach or a new company or whatever, but it like you said, you're 100% right, Kevin. I think that would be like a next year thing when we're like, oh, these guys are like, oh, they're coming back a week earlier than usual because they're trying some new PT stuff, or what do they call it, prehab. Like
Mm.
some prehab stuff to get ready so they don't fall into those same injuries. I think they said Westy just came in on a ball and just felt it weird. Gunner came in on a ball in the spring training. That was probably because he was cold from the winter or whatever, hunting all whole damn time. But you know what I mean? Just prehab
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah, for sure. I got you. Well,
yeah,
Jake,
well,
appreciate you
yep.
calling in, man. The
All right.
weather looks nice out there, so enjoy that
Yeah,
North
it looks
Carolina night.
beautiful there.
It looks
Yeah.
great, man. And thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
brother.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Yep. All right, man. Peace
Jake,
out.
appreciate you. Have a good one. Always
right.
appreciate when Jake calls in.
Yeah.
Love hearing from him.
Sure.
Let's keep it rolling though. Next up, we got B Ravens behind the scenes. Hey, what's up, my
What's
man?
going on, B Ravens?
Hey, first time calling in. First time calling in without Wi-Fi issues or the or late game. I had to get up early the next morning. But yeah, well, what a disappointment of a series.
I
3
know.
straight bad games by starting pitchers.
Really,
I
right
mean-
when they turned the corner too, which it felt like they were.
Yeah, and what concerns me the most is we needed to win this series, especially when you look at the road up ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not concerned much about the Angels, but the Tigers and Yankees are the 2 series that concern me the most. And we need to get as many wins as possible because I can't guarantee we're going to win one game with both of them.
No. You also have to, they could have realistically, as I said earlier, been 8 games under here with a real shot. But now you're looking at your 12 back. You have those tough series like you mentioned. And even like the Rays are, that Rays series is going to be tough too. So you have 4 series now where you got to prove you're still in it here. Although it just feels like with these disappointing series losses, it feels like it's slipping away by the day.
It's funny. I wore my Henderson T-shirt today because of his fantastic throw yesterday.
Yeah,
just for him to commit 2 errors.
Gunnar Henderson giveth and Gunnar Henderson taketh away. It's how it goes.
Yeah, I've never seen a team like this night and day when it comes to pitching left-handed versus pitching right-handed.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
You could have the guy across the street pitch left-handed, and he'd still shut them down.
I could go out there and do it. I'm a lefty. I could go out there and throw some shutout innings against this team if the team needed me to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like so night and day. Like that. Well, going into the year, our best bats were all left-handed, and our best bat going right-handed now is Arias, and with Westbrook coming next, so you could probably add Westbrook into this situation. But yeah, you can't have like 2-3 good right-handed bats and expect to win consistently against lefties.
Yeah, and it's tough because you're right. Like a lot of their best bats are left-handed, and even for a guy like O'Hearn, who I know got the day off today, it's like, and look, he's been hitting a lot better. He's just been hitting everything, so it's not like that big of a deal compared to what it's been in previous years. But it just feels like any lefty can go up there and give the Orioles fits. And, a serious team is going to have to face serious lefties when it comes to contending down the stretch or getting into the postseason. Feels like we're so far away from that here. It's disappointing. I mean, there were so many great expectations that everybody had. And, it just feels like a lot of it goes down the drain. And plus, they just reeled us back in. It felt like with those White Sox and Seattle series. And it's like, okay, wait, are they finally going to do something? And then they just kind of throw it all away against the A's.
Yeah, I don't get it. And then, hopefully they turn things around because, that Tigers series really concerns me, especially Game 3. If Kramer does what he did yesterday, Game 3, that's going to be a long game. And then you got Scooball on the other side.
Yeah.
It's Kramer coming tough off his worst game of the season, and then Scooball, who's the best pitcher in the AL.
Yeah, I'm chalking that one up to a loss already. So hopefully they can win 2 or 3 because I'm not so confident in that last one.
Well, they Game 2, they got a lefty.
Yeah. So all right, man. Try not to get swept, I guess, is now the goal.
Game 1's important. Let's just say that.
Exactly. They have to win Game 1 because Game 2 is the lefty, and then Game 3 is Scooball.
Yeah, that if they don't win Game 1, I do not have a lot of hope.
Exactly.
Yeah, But all right, B Ravens, appreciate you calling in, man. Glad to
Okay,
get you on without the Wi-Fi issues. I know you and Zach had a time last Sunday or
Yeah,
whenever that was.
and I
So
couldn't call in the last 2 games because of the night. It was in the middle of the night.
yeah,
So
we were grounded through the late night hours there. But appreciate you calling in. Hopefully we're here from you some more soon. And
yep,
we'll talk
fingers
to you later.
crossed.
Awesome. All
All
right,
right,
well,
see ya.
appreciate you. Have a good rest of your night.
Awesome.
Jinx, you owe me $50,000. I don't make the rules.
Unreal. Just unreal. Let's keep the call. Let's keep the call drawn. We got Laura up next. Laura. Let's keep the call.
No.
Yeah. Keep the call drawn.
Oh, I hear you, Zach. You talking double?
Next.
Oh, that's probably because my phone is over here.
I know. It's funny.
All right.
No
What does it
shirt
say,
today.
Kevin?
No shirt today.
No shirt today. What does it say, Kevin?
The O's are not fine. Not even fine-ish. Not
Correct.
even fine-ish.
Not even fine-ish. Missed the game today because I was out and about with friends and family, and it sounds like that was a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the. Let me put it this way: I got the bad innings. I got like the 8th and 9th innings.
Yeah,
Don't you
love it?
that second one
watching.
also.
Apparently,
was
I
not
jinxed
good.
the team. Yeah. I'm still trying to stay optimistic. Wildly optimistic. I don't know why I'm trying to be optimistic. I don't know why.
I mean, season has felt over for a while. They probably, and this is what this is like all sports teams do this, or at least a lot of them do, where the season is just over and then they go on this run to make you feel like, oh, hey, maybe this, maybe that. And then they pull what the Orioles did this weekend, and then you're just like, why'd you put me through the torture again?
As soon as you're
Have you
out,
seen any of the Godfather movies?
right back in.
No, I have not.
That's right. Where Michael Corleone says, "I get out only for him to run back in."
It literally, that's it. They sit
literally
there
what it
and give
is.
you every reason to not believe, and then they give you the slightest reason to believe, and then that's when it's most dangerous because it escalates fast.
I get it. You're wearing the shirt. And you're down. Okay. Where do we go from here? Is I think what everybody wants to know out there. I mean, I already said a few weeks ago that Elias has already put the word on the street that we're going to be sellers at the deadline. So, it's just a matter of who are we selling at this point. I mean, does Seti come back this week? Is he going to be okay, quote unquote, fine, quote unquote, well enough for us to sell? Because as much as it breaks my heart, I'm thinking Seti's going to be gone. This team doesn't turn it around. Who else is going to be gone? I mean, Charlie Morton's going to be gone. He's going to be retiring off into the sunset, regardless of what happens. It's a matter of who are we getting rid of, what are we keeping, and what free agents are out there that we can keep our eye on to try and bring in for a 2026 run. Thoughts?
I would probably say that one of Seti and O'Hearn is gone, and that one is not going to be O'Hearn. So I think it's going to be Seti. It just makes sense. I think it's time. And again, it's not anything Seti has done. Seti has been one of the heartbeats of this team for a decent portion of the year. I think O'Hearn obviously takes the cake on that one, but Seti and O'Hearn carried this offense for a little bit. I mean, it honestly, to me, depends on, because again, if you don't trade one of these guys, whether it is O'Hearn or Seti or both or neither, you have to be certain you're going to sign these guys to extensions, because there's no point in letting them walk. I've said it before. I'm tired of first round picks. I don't want to see the Orioles with any more first round picks. I just don't care about first round picks. They're going to have 3 this year. you need to actually trade guys for prospects that are going to be a little bit more ready, or vets that can help you. And so you have to make a decision on Zach Eflin. You have to make a decision on Sagano. You're going to have to make other decisions as well. Those are like the big four, but you have a couple of other guys that you could maybe move off of if you felt like it. But, they also are going to have Tyler O'Neill opting in next season. I mean, I'd be floored if he didn't, unless he goes on a tear of all tears.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that they have, Laura, and this is something that, you kind of talked about and I've been saying for a little bit, is that they're in this, for lack of a better term, it's no man's land, where teams that are contending are not going to want to give you contending pieces back.
Correct.
Because you're going to want, like, let's say the Orioles were contending, and let's say the Phillies aren't playing great right now. So let's just talk about the Phillies. And let's just say it's Bryce Harper, because that's the first Philly that came to my mind. If the Phillies were to trade the Orioles, Bryce Harper, the Orioles aren't going to say, okay, we're going to give you Ryan O'Hearn back because, we're going to help you. You're going to help us in terms of like swapping veterans. You're going to want to give back prospects, guys that you're not going to need immediately for a player that can help you immediately. And so it's really going to take a special situation of maybe a guy's just not working out on a contender, or there's not enough roster space for this guy to get consistent playing time, and the Orioles can help out a contending team in a different position.
We don't have enough. We don't have enough spot for the prospects we got to get playing time. It's the problem with that.
And that's the other thing where, like, I mean, I don't think they're going to trade a Kobe or a Heston this season. I think that's more of it. Like, I think the offseason is the best time to trade those guys if you're going to move on from them, because you can kind of cook up a deal there for a guy that can help you next year with prospects. I mean, I don't expect Heston to be on the team past this year, but for deadline stuff, you're going to have to make some moves here. But you don't want to be stuck in that no man's land of you keep everybody and it's still not working, and then everybody like leaves and you get nothing for them. But you also don't want to be like, oh, we're trading all of our guys for prospects that aren't going to help the team for the next 3 to 5 years or 2 to 5 years. So, like, this is a big make or break for Elias here.
Because you don't want to be, like the Marlins. Do you guys have either of you watched Arrested Development?
No.
The TV show? No?
No.
There's a character on that show that's trying to be, he was a psychiatrist, and he's trying to be an actor, and he's going in for an audition, and he goes, still. So, that's what it feels like. It's like the, oh my God, we're having a fire sale. So, he's trying to make this fire sale seem very, very dramatic. And that's kind of what it feels like. We're trying to make this more probably dramatic than it really needs to be or has to be, because again, like you said, what are we getting back? And nobody's going to want to give us back the good stuff. To be honest, they're not going to want to give us back the good stuff.
Yeah.
So it really does behoove, Elias and Rubenstein to really kind of sit down and say, you got to open up the wallet, friend. We got to get some free agents in here. So, but like you said, unfortunately, with the way the team is playing now and the way the team is looking and everything else, what free agents want to come to Baltimore? Unless it's for opening the wallet.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
That's what it's going to be. Money talks.
Yeah.
So
that's how it is. And the Orioles still have not signed anyone to an extension yet. So there's that other problem. So a lot of things are going to get answers in these next couple of months in terms of trade deadline. Then we'll just have to see what they end up doing. But Laura, appreciate you calling in. Oh, you got one more thing?
One more thing?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Scott Boras could eat a dick. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Oh, Laura, appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate you, Laura.
What a final statement.
What a statement. So let's keep it rolling. We got our guy Steve behind. Steve, what's up?
What's going on, Steve?
I said before the road trip, 2 out of 3 in both series would have been the best case scenario. And they laid a freaking egg in Sacramento.
Yeah.
They still won 4-6, just not the way that they needed to. Like,
I mean, a 4-2 road trip, I'm not mad about that. We should have taken 2 out of 3 in Sacramento, if not swept the damn series.
agree.
Yep.
I agree.
It's the circumstances.
And-
it's like exactly what you said. If you would have told me going into this road trip, the Orioles keep it going and go win 4 of 6. I'm like, oh, let's go. Then if you tell me, oh, by the way, they swept the Mariners, I'm like, are you serious? Like, okay.
It's just so weird.
And the worst part is you've got a very good Tigers team coming in after the day off.
Yeah.
And Scooble's in game 3. That's something I'm not looking forward to. Have the Orioles probables been announced for that series yet?
I am not
I'm going to check
sure.
right now. I'm sure we have something. It's going to be. Oh, nope. They have not.
Yeah, but it
That's
looks like
interesting.
it lines up to be, from what I'm seeing, Povich, Eflin, and then Kramer. At least what it's lined up to be at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Just going off.
Taking 1 is massive. If the Orioles can find a way at home to get 2, I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
It would be a
Pleasantly
very
surprised,
good
yeah.
surprise.
Plus, if I heard Manzolino correct, pregame, Westy will be back for the homestand.
Yep.
And it sounds like Mullins could be back for the homestand.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be back either this. I think he said either Tigers or Angels, which honestly surprised me that it was so fast because it doesn't seem like he's going to do any rehab or anything. They're just going to have him back. Which is,
Yeah. And until today, the bullpen was absolutely lights out.
yeah.
And then
It feels like one step forward, today, honestly, it felt like everyone was kind of just on an off day, pitching offense. But, throughout this season, it's like one group does incredibly well. And then once they have, the other group starts picking up, they start faltering. And it's like they can't put it all together for an extended period of time.
and I've said it before. Hitting steps up, pitching falters. Pitching steps up, hitting falters. And it's like,
every time.
come on.
Like
It's
clockwork.
exactly. I will say, I did see this morning the Astros got rid of Forrest Whitley.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's an Elias guy.
Yeah, he is. That he is. Wouldn't shock me at all. Would not shock me at all.
I will say, though, one thing good today came out of the Orioles organization. I don't know if you saw, Tides threw a combined 7-inning no-hitter in Louisville.
Ooh.
All right. No, I did not see that.
We'll take
5
it.
pitchers, and Selby got the win.
Oh, okay. Colin
Good
Selby.
for Colin Selby. Good for Colin Selby.
And, who was it? Oh,
On the organization.
and apparently Dylan Beavers is tearing up AAA.
Yeah. He's been going crazy. He's been going crazy. So,
But
yeah,
this team's got to get it together. Because it's like we've been talking about. Tigers, Angels, Yankees race coming up. Not going to be easy. 3 of those 4 are not going to be easy.
yeah. Even the Angels I mean, they're not the White Sox. They're not like the Rays or the Yankees or the Tigers, but they're not the White Sox or the A's. So
They're a feisty club, and with Trout back, they're a lot better.
yeah, it's true.
Trout's a big difference maker. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
sure. But Steve, appreciate you calling in, man.
Find a way to win one.
Find a way to
the
win
Tigers.
one.
Exactly.
Find a way to win one.
Exactly.
Rest, we'll see
Steve,
what happens.
appreciate you as always, my friend.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Awesome. We got our last call in of the day. We got Danny behind the scenes. Danny, what's up, my friend?
Danny, what's going on?
I'm good. I'm good, guys. Like, how are you guys doing?
Doing all right. A little disappointed. In fact, a lot disappointed about the Orioles, but you know,
Dude, oh my god,
life goes on, I guess, right?
yeah, dude. Like, I feel like if we had won the game Friday night, like, I feel like this loss would have been like, all right, yeah, you're all right. You move on.
Yep.
You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
like if it's like going 4-2, we're like, yeah, it's great. But I feel like you sweep Seattle, you're like, yes. And then we come to Sacramento, and then I understand like they've not been playing well, but they have a lot of good young hitters. And Wilson, my God, like that kid,
It's unbelievable.
Unreal.
stud. So like again, like I understand, but like still though, I'm like, come on, guys, really?
It's just.
I mean, you had to sweep to feel like that was the only outcome for me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's an
too.
A's team that
Me too.
was horrendous before this. And it's what we've been saying all season. I know, Zach, you definitely said it more than I have, but it's like the Orioles are the get-right team.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
they're the get-right game for all these teams.
Yeah,
Get-right series.
it's weird because like I've already said like I'm not counting on playoffs this year. Like I'm not. I'm saying like I just want us to be competitive. And again, they have been playing better. I'm not saying that they have not been playing better.
Sure.
But also I'm trying to think like, okay, you know, we probably are going to sell at the deadline. And theoretically, like the one guy I feel like none of us doesn't want us to sell is probably going to be the most valuable, and that's O'Hearn.
It's true.
Yeah.
And again, like I understand, like he's probably the one guy you don't sell, but at the end of the day, like he's probably going to be one of the most coveted bats.
Yeah, he probably will be the most coveted bet.
Yeah, and again, like depending on which teams which end up selling, we don't know. But at the end of the day, like you know, a lot of teams are going to want O'Hearn. I feel like the Orioles could get a good package for him. I'm the same.
I agree.
Again, as someone who I feel like his leadership, I wouldn't do it. But at the end of the day, like you have to think like, you know, you have Mullins. I love Mullins, but it's time to move on. I agree. I agree with that. But again, like he could get you a okay prospect possibly. But I feel like with the year that O'Hearn's having, I'm just saying like, I don't know if I would do it, but at the end of the day, like, you know, you have to think of where you're at, and you also have to think of, okay, potentially in the offseason, you could try to bring him back. I might even potentially like talk to me like, hey, we're going to trade you because of where we're at. Go be on a contender. Go play some, you know, good baseball. And then in the offseason, like, sorry, I started.
Are you good?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
We're going to reach out again, and I'm going to try to bring you back.
Yeah, it's happened before. It's happened
before. So, again, like, if that happens, I would be like, and again, I feel like a guy like that, he deserves to be on a good team this year. So, but also, like, I feel like if you trade off some guys, you can also bring some guys in to potentially in the offseason trade for a guy.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I actually never thought of it that way.
You can use this deadline. I still feel like the best course of value, like, is it just buy a pitcher? Because, again, like, it's easier just to go ahead and just spend money and then, of course, trade because you have to give up assets. But
yeah,
if you feel like, all right, I still feel like this offseason, get 2 pitchers is probably the best course of action. I would say if you want to get one in free agency and then if you want to get a mid-tier guy in free agency, awesome. I'm all for it. And then if you wanted to potentially use some assets, you get in and potentially a Mayo or something like that as a headline guy to trade for a ace pitcher. That could be something too.
Yeah, there are a lot of avenues for them. I mean, we are going to have to see what they do because, again, it just feels like, especially after this series, it's like the season it's been sinking. It has honestly probably sunk, but, it's something. Yeah, they'll have to figure it out. But
and I also feel like it also depends on who they hire as their manager.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the manager's going to bring in his own staff, and and I feel like, again, I don't know if I necessarily trust Elias because, I was an Elias guy, but this offseason kind of soured on me.
Yeah,
wasn't good.
Like a lot of people, and theoretically, this season is basically it's a whole Orioles failure. But again, he's at the head of this.
Mm.
And again, I understand injuries are only an excuse that I can't give because again, even though we've had a ton of injuries, I feel like this team is still too talented.
Oh, without doubt.
Where they're at, so I'm like, again, he put together this roster, and then of course you look at the pitching injuries. Our guy Corbin Burns is now out for the whole year. That sucks. So I understand, people are like, oh, we're so glad we didn't do that. Okay, but there's a guy who I wanted us to sign. He's in New York right now, and he's killing it.
Yeah, Max Fried.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those guys.
As someone who has seen him pitch a ton for the Braves, because I literally live in the area, someone who I've seen him pitch a ton, and I was like, that right there is a guy because, he's a lefty. I also feel like he would have been a good mentor to Povich.
Yeah,
because
missed opportunities.
Because Povich is kind of like a competitive Fried, even if Fried can throw harder. But I'm like, I would have been like, I was over. I said Fried over Burns, and now I was like, Fried's the guy. And then I understand the contract he got, but still though, he's probably he's been great all year.
Yeah. I mean, Fried's been unbelievable.
Oh,
he is, and his metrics and everything. I mean, he was one of those guys where it felt like he's not a flamethrower, so you feel better about the elbow and everything. And it just honestly looked like one of those guys where, hey, when he went to New York, there's a reason they were comfortable giving him that much for that long because, hey, they were not. I mean, they knew what they had in him if they got him, and they're proving him right, or he's proving them right now.
Just think, in a year where Cole and Gill are both gone, they needed him to step up. And he's had one bad game, and it was against the Dodgers. It happens. I'm not gonna dude, it happens. But he's been phenomenal this year. And I just feel like that's a guy. I understand the contract is probably a little bit out of the worst project, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I feel like he's a guy that would age gracefully because he's not a guy that he can throw hard during small and he wants to. But he's the guy again. He has a ton of pitches, and he's going to pitch to you.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for sure. I mean, that hopefully right the wrongs this offseason, but honestly, with the track record here, Elias has made some good moves. He's also made a lot of bad ones.
I agree, and I also feel like they need to get a bat also in the offseason because some of the guys that are going to be leaving and potentially trading away, I feel like a good veteran bat. I don't care if it's a lefty or a righty. Just I'm the best player.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if he bats left or right. Get a good veteran bat who can mash and bring him into Camden Yards.
Yeah, and get someone that fits the skill. Still, one of the things that makes me the maddest about the deadline last year was Zach and I were on here talking about they need to get a high contact bat, guy that can hit near the top of the order or just get on base, and they bring in Eloy Jimenez. And I'm just like, why?
I was like, yeah. And we got Austin Slater and Eloy Jimenez. I was like, what?
Just completely the opposite of what they needed. It's just like, okay, cool, you trade for bats, but they're the wrong bats.
Yeah,
you spend the money, but you spend it on the wrong places. Like,
yeah, and again, the Tyler O'Neill signing, I actually liked it when it happened. I was like, oh yeah, man, he's a good player. Like, I don't hate it. I'm like, yeah, he's got injury issues, but like again, like I didn't hate the signing. At the end of the day, man, like it's been a bad year for like everybody on the team, but the signing is not looking great. And when he's your marquee signing, and again, he's probably going to opt in because he's been hurt and he hasn't played well this year. So that's just more money you're got to pour onto a player who has not been good for you.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like that contract, it's a lose-lose for us. Either he plays great and he leaves, or he sucks and he stays. So it's like, yeah.
It's just, a lot of bad moves, a lot of stuff they have to fix. So we will see how they do it. But man, Danny, appreciate you calling in as always, man. Love talking with you. We'll talk soon. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Also,
Danny,
have a great one,
man.
Danny.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that gave me like flashbacks of us talking this off season. I mean, the draft has been decent for Elias. The Burns move, obviously, we liked that one. He's made a couple of good waiver claims, but a lot of it has just kind of been, at least recently, like these are not World Series moves, and I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, I've been on record saying that I would not give him the deadline. They're going to. It's going to happen. I wouldn't, but they're going to. So I guess you just got to put your trust there again. And it doesn't feel good doing it, but it feels like it's the only option. So
yeah, it does, and that's unfortunate. It feels like it's the only option right now. I mean, where else do they go? Like genuinely, it is just like. Just disappointing.
Yeah.
Ever since this offseason, ever since going back to last trade deadline, it's just been disappointing here.
Yeah, that trade deadline was just. I'll never forget the reaction that we had after that Stowers and Norby move.
That was just everyone.
Yeah, it's the big thing where like they make the actual precipice of the moves is not like horrible. It's just the guys that they either get back or spend the money on, or sometimes draft. It's just like, sure, spend money, but don't spend it on Tyler O'Neill and Charlie Morton. Sure, go trade for guys and trade away guys like Kyle Stowers who might not have a future in Baltimore, Connor Norby, which again, we talked about the whole Mateo thing with him. Like, sure, trade away those guys, but don't do it for Trevor Rogers, who, by the way, I want to see Trevor Rogers back. We'll see. But the move wasn't good enough to help them last year was the issue. Trevor Rogers he hurt them. Trevor Rogers hurt them last season when they were trying to get back on track. Maybe Trevor comes up and he continues to do what he did against Boston. Like, hopefully he does. But it just feels like the I don't even know how to say it. Like, the process is there, but the execution is not great most of the time. Like,
that's why it feels like it was like that was your opportunity. Like they had a chance last year and
they had clear needs. Like we identified them. It just like the Eflin deal was good. Don't get me wrong. Like that deal was good. That was the best deal for him. But you just, you needed more than just Eflin, and you made all these moves. And like, sure, Soto and Dominguez have had spots for you and have looked decent, but it wasn't good enough then because Soto was horrendous for like all that time. And Dominguez had the homer issues for a little bit there. Slater and Eloy were both, again, not the bats you needed. And, I hope that this year it's like, I just need Mike Elias to read the room here. All right. Regardless of where they are at the deadline, we don't know where that's going to be. I think we all have an idea, but we don't know that for sure yet.
Yeah.
Just read the room, make the moves. If you're not going to sign guys to extensions, if you are actually get them done. But again, we don't have anything because what's this team's future look like in 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know the answer to that because no one's signed. They don't have anybody signed.
And that's one of the biggest things is it feels like there isn't a clear. I mean, hell, 4 of your most productive players are free agents after this year. You know, Zagano, Eflin, like that's where it is.
You literally like outside of this year and next, and maybe the year after that, like you have no clue who's going to be on this team. I have no clue who's going to be on this team.
Yeah,
when you see guys getting signed left and right, like Jackson is I know it's Boris, and I get it, I understand, but these are easy extension candidates. I know Boris is hard to work with, especially when it comes to getting guys done early, but.
I don't think
it feels bad when all these other teams are getting their young guys locked up and the Orioles yet to have them. Yeah.
And that's what they've been their entire existence. It feels like it's nothing new in Baltimore.
Well, it's like you don't want to go through a Machado thing. Like you don't want to have to deal with that. And and by the way, the haul that Duquette got from Machado was horrendous. I mean, really only Dean has been like their best contributor by a long shot. He was their only contributor, and Dean has had great moments and not so great. So
yeah, it's just discipline. That whole era of Baltimore was just so
they traded away like 5 or 6 high quality players, with Machado being the best of them, and essentially got back Dean Kramer and Dylan Tate.
Yeah, just horrendous. Genuinely was just looking back one of the worst trade hauls.
Tommy Diaz was my prince that was promised. I was so disappointed with how that went.
That was so bad.
I was so in on him. Oh,
so bad.
Luis Ortiz, I thought they could turn him around.
Yeah, God, there was so just that whole 2018.
Cody Carroll gave some moments, like 3 moments.
Yeah.
I thought Zach Pop was the next god reliever. I was so in on that, and then it all just crashed and burned. They got like Breivik Valeria in that Dodgers deal. That's my Oriole. I'm claiming that now. Right, Breivik Valeria is my Oriole.
Oh, that was just such a bad. Like that. Talk about like just setting like they didn't get a single like top 100 guy. Like that was just awful.
It set them back like 5 years.
That was so bad. So bad.
Oh.
God. Got anything else, Kevin?
No, I think we're good to go. Tough series. In fact, very disappointing series. They got the Tigers coming up.
Yeah.
So,
off day tomorrow. And then we'll be back at Tuesday as the Detroit Tigers, the #1 team in the American League, come into Baltimore. See if we can salvage something. See if they can do something. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel, if you're still hanging out with us. It's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. We'll be back on Tuesday after the first game of the Orioles.
Wait. We got Tommy Super Chat. Did you?
Oh, no. Oh, Tommy, appreciate you. Sarah Goodrum, director of player development. Oh, Coco Chris, one of the greatest names of all time. I love
you've been on that Coco Chris train for you've liked Coco Chris.
I love Coco Chris. He's just one of those like all-time name guys. So that's gonna do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Appreciate all of you who tuned in, and we will catch you on Tuesday. Dexter Fowler for that one day.
Breivik Valeria. God, Orioles legend Dexter Fowler. They would have won